Speaker, thank you. We have a climate emergency, and it may not be visible on that side of the chamber. You may have covered your eyes, you may have plugged your ears, but we can see it. We see it in fire, we see it in water, we see it in extreme weather. We can see it on the dash cams of people who are fleeing forest fires, driving down roads with walls of flame on either side of them. Fort McMurray in California, in the southern United States, people are fleeing for their lives, and this government can't see it, can't recognize it. In Ottawa, people have had to abandon their homes. And this morning, there was note that that flood peak is coming up again because there's more rain, more snowmelt. What does it take for you to understand that this is an immediate crisis, that the plan that you put forward is totally inadequate? It is a joke. It is not a credible plan. It is not one that will save the people of this province, will not save the people of this planet. It is irresponsible. Totally, recklessly irresponsible. The reality is that around the world, people are beginning to understand the scale, the speed of the crisis that we're engaged in. Montreal, Ottawa, Kingston, Vancouver have all declared climate emergencies. The governments of the UK and Ireland have declared climate emergencies. They know what is happening. They know how fast it's moving. They know what's going to happen to us, to our children, to our lives, to our families, to our future, if we don't act. And what we have on the table right now from this government is completely inadequate. Again, I have to say, a dereliction of duty, completely irresponsible. Speaker, the governors of the central banks of England and France have recently made a statement about what's coming at us. And at the beginning of that statement, they wrote, "Catastrophic effects of climate change are visible around the world." These are sober, responsible people who understand what is coming at them. This government may not understand what's coming at them, but they do. Young people, Climate Strike Canada, Futures for Friday for Futures, understand that they have to take the lead and fight for their futures, for all our futures, because we have governments like this who are totally irresponsible. Totally irresponsible. If we adopt this motion today, we say to people across Ontario, we understand how big this is. It's not a small problem. It's not a big problem far away. It is a huge problem on our doorsteps today that we have to take on. Take on aggressively. Take on aggressively without letting up. Because if we don't do that, we will not be able to preserve our way of life. We will not be able to preserve our lives and the lives of our children. Speaker, it's not enough to declare an emergency. We know it's an important first step to mobilize people, to get them to understand what's coming. But the other part of it is there has to be action. There has to be action that moves the dial dramatically. We can cut our emissions, and in doing that, we say to the rest of the world, an industrialized country as wealthy and as thoughtful as Ontario can do it, the rest of the world can do it as well. If we don't lead, we ourselves will be driving between those walls of flames, wishing that we had acted and regretting what we had let our lives come to. Thank you, Speaker.
For the debate, the member for Guelph.
It's an honour to